Welcome everyone. Hope you are good and taking good care of your family. Uh, After going through all the stories of entrepreneurship, success stories of entrepreneurs, especially about the stories about how much money the entrepreneurs are making in present era in the market, you come across so many people who are making crores together money. So much funding is coming to India from abroad, right? So many venture capitalists are involved in investing in these startups. There is so much story about startup India, make in India, right? So government is giving so many benefits to startups. It is inviting people to start their own companies, right? So you may feel like getting into entrepreneurship. Now, uh, looking all these stories, we have discussed about the characteristics, we have discussed about the skills, we have discussed about the risks that are involved, and also we have discussed about the uh, opportunity. We have discussed about the disadvantages of entrepreneurship. Now, today we will be discussing about the role of entrepreneurship in economic development or contribution of entrepreneurs in economic development of a country. Okay. So there are 11 points I have listed here. The list is not exclusive, or you can add the points whichever you feel like can be added to the list and expand the list. Now, here, uh, the first point is capital formation. What happens here is entrepreneurs, they need money to start the business. Okay, so they what they do, whatever amount they have out of their pocket, they will invest in the business. But to do expansion, to purchase the raw materials, to purchase the machinery, this money may not be sufficient. So what they will do, they will approach the banks or financial institutions and take the money. How the banks will have money? They are collecting this money from the depositors who have kept their money in the banks. Now, bank is collecting this money from individuals, that is the capital, and banks are giving or distributing this money among the entrepreneurs to carry out the business activities. So, what is happening here? So, entrepreneurs, because they need finance, because they need money, they are involved in capital formation in a country. So there is a demand for loans, there is a demand for money from the entrepreneurs for business activity. So that is why there are banks. When there are banks, and banks, they need to collect money from depositors, they have to pay interest. So people are motivated. Those people who have money, who have kept in their almiras, what they will do? They will deposit, maybe fixed deposit, maybe some insurance, maybe savings account or recurring deposits, whatever different types of deposits, right? Not just banks, but there are financial institutions who collect money from general public. Now, this capital is formed. This is distributed among the entrepreneurs, and this money, once received by an entrepreneur in the form of a loan, is invested in various activities like production, distribution, supply, procurement, etc. activities. So this capital is rotating in the economy. That is one of the contribution. Else, what would happen if there is no economic activity, or if there is no entrepreneurship? Then the money which individual is earning, there is no motivation for him to deposit in the bank, or there is no motivation for him to deposit in the insurance, because he is not earning anything from those deposits. So what he will do, it is better to keep in the house in the almiras, because anyhow in the banks it is not going to generate any interest. Okay, so because of economic activity, money is rotating in the market. Next is employment generation. Entrepreneurs play a major role in generating employment. Imagine 130 crore population of India. How much government is giving government jobs to individuals or people in the government side? How much they can employ? Maybe, let's say in Karnataka, we may have some 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs government employees. Because there are private players, because there are entrepreneurs who have started their companies, they employ people, they generate employment. and they hire skilled laborers or unskilled labor based on their requirement in the market. So they are generating huge employment and employing the people. Next is innovation and research and development. These employ entrepreneurs. What they have to do to be successful, they have to be innovative. That is one of the characteristics of entrepreneurs. And to do innovations, what they have to do, they have to carry out research and development activities. So when they invest in research and development activities, new innovations are coming, new benefits are added to the products which are sold in the market, new benefits are added to the services, prices are coming down. So basically what is happening here is entrepreneurs, they are bringing new products to the market through innovation and research and development. Also, what is happening here, they are investing money and also they are generating employment in this region. So they are coming up with new innovative products, innovative services, and also investing in research and development, generating the employment. Next is regional development. Balanced regional development is what entrepreneurs do. Now, many of the time we complain only Bangalore is developed. We see companies only in Bangalore. But if you go to Kanakpura, there is an industrial area. If you go to Belgaum, there is an industrial area. If you go to Hubli, there is an industrial area. Likewise, if you go to Gulbarga, there is an industrial area. If you go to Bidar, there is a different. There are industrial areas located across across the state. Every district has it. Even in taluka places, you might see industrial hubs. Okay, KIADB, Karnataka Industrial Development Board. It is located across state. In each district, we see the industrial boards. What they do, they are giving land shed for these entrepreneurs. Now, entrepreneurs, like I said, companies are located across state, but types of companies may be different. In Bangalore, you may only software. In Gulbarga, you may see dal mills. In Raichur, you may see rice mills. In Ramnagara and all, you may see silk related industries. In Mysore, you may see sari related industries. Likewise, different types of industries are located in different regions. Not all the industries are located only in Bangalore. So this is how entrepreneurs, if someone wants to business, they don't have to come to Bangalore. What they are doing, they are looking at the opportunity and they are starting businesses in their local area. In their local, where they feel like there is a market, there are supply of raw materials, there is supply channels available. So in such places, they are starting the business, they are hiring, they are generating employment locally, they are giving jobs to local people are earning salaries, their life standard is increasing. Okay. So that's how there is a balanced regional development happening across the state or across the country. There might be some areas, very few areas, where there is no water, there is electricity problem, which is required, which is very, very basic for industries. Such places we cannot see the industries, but most of the places we can see the industry. That is how they are doing the balanced regional development. Next is reduce concentration of economic power. There is a saying like 1% of Indian population controls 80% of Indian money, right? Like Anil Ambani, Reliance Company, Aditya Birla Company, Vedanta, etc. 1% of population. We keep saying that. Right? With new entrepreneurs coming and starting the new businesses, what is happening? They are generating income, they are generating jobs, they are giving jobs to other people, and also they are becoming rich. Okay. So you may see entrepreneurs in Bangalore, you may see entrepreneurs in Belgaum, you may see entrepreneurs in all other districts. Yes, the turnover may be less. Yes, the amount of money they make or profit they make maybe less. But yeah, what they are doing, they are not allowing only one person or only few people from the entire population holding control of all the resources, all the business activities. So many of the entrepreneurs who are from small villages with a minimum education background, with limited access to the resources, now because of the government opportunities or because of the willpower, they are taking up the business and they are starting, even they are becoming successful entrepreneurs. So they are not allowing. Now what is happening is, because new entrepreneurs are coming, so economic power is not controlled by few, but it is distributed among the entrepreneurs. Next is wealth creation and distribution. As I said, employment is generated, industries are distributed, local people are getting jobs, and they are earning money. Now their purchase power is increased. Now someone who was only able to buy a cycle, now because there is an income, now he can buy a bike. He was having a radio, but now he can purchase a TV. He wasn't having a basic handset, but now he is able to buy a mobile. Why it has happened? Because he got a job. There is a flow of money. Every month he is getting salary. His purchase power increased. Now when purchase power increased, standard of living also increases, because the individual is able to purchase quality products. So standard of life is also improves. Next is, now imagine these industries are located across Karnataka. So wealth is distributed across, money is distributed across Karnataka. People are employed locally and they are earning money in their local area. So wealth is generated locally and it is distributed among local people who are employed in the company. Next is increase GNP and per capita income. What is GNP here? GNP is gross national product. What is gross national product? Total monetary value of total goods and services produced by Indians within India. Okay, or goods and services, monetary value of goods and services produced by a citizen of a country within India. That is gross national product. Next is per capita income. Per capita income is how much each individual person earning per month. So total income of India divided by total population, we get the per capita per person, how much it is. So here what is happening? Because there is entrepreneurship, new people are coming and taking up the business activities. New products are being manufactured. New services are being offered in the market. So here GNP is increasing. National product, that is monetary value of goods and services produced, is increasing. And also because there is so much economic activity happening here, employment generation, product manufacturing and sales, service sales. So much economic activity is happening. People are getting jobs. So slowly the per capita income is also increasing. Next is improve standard of living. Like I was talking about the wealth creation. Here people are earning money. When people earn money, their standard of living improves. Okay, you may see around if you are staying in village, you may see people who are like earning very minimum amount. They were not even having TV, not even having say bikes or mobiles, but now they have color TVs, LED TVs. If not LED, they at least have the LED TVs. Okay, if not smart mobiles, iPhones, but definitely they will have the mobiles with basic facilities. So what is happening here? Because there is income, because there is money with an individual, his purchase power has increased. He can purchase the quality products and variety of products from the market, and so his lifestyle also changes. Next is use of local resources. Now here again, to add to the 8th point, that is improve standard of living. So because there is income, Now people, suppose if someone is facing any health issues, and if there is no money, what he will do, he will go to only primary healthcare center, which is located in his village, or that MBBS doctor or something, and he will be depending only on the government, like BPL schemes or some Ayush, some schemes which are run by the central government or state government. But now if he has money, he can go to a private hospital, or he can purchase a health insurance, and then he can go to a good hospital and take the treatment. So that is one more thing what I can talk about in relation to improve standard of living. Next is use of local resources. Because there is a distribution of entrepreneurship, locally businesses are set up and run. So the local resources are used by the entrepreneurs. Like if someone is starting an industry in Belgaum, he would prefer to hire people who are in and around Belgaum, who are skilled, qualified. So local human resources being employed. Likewise, local raw materials which are available in the local area, such raw materials are being used by the entrepreneurs. Likewise, distribution channels. Now he is located in Belgaum. What he would prefer? He would prefer someone who would like to distribute his goods and services, but he should be located in and around Belgaum, because there is more control if he is located in Belgaum. So locally available resources are being used by entrepreneurs in case of starting their businesses in the region where they are starting their enterprises. Next is national self-reliance. This is very, very important, because there is entrepreneurship. Goods and product services are produced in India and sold in India. Many of the goods and services. Imagine if there is no entrepreneurship, we have to import each and everything from abroad, from China, from Nepal, from Bhutan, from America, from Israel, any other country. Imagine if there is no entrepreneurship, everything has to be imported from foreign. Okay, so that is one of the major advantage of having entrepreneurs. What happens? They observe foreign businesses, they observe businesses which are running in India, and then they start innovative business. So country as a country as a whole, what is happening? The products which are being imported from abroad are now manufactured locally. Like previously, all the helicopters were imported, all the fighter jets imported, all the satellites which we launched imported, all the rockets that we launched imported. But because there is entrepreneurship, we are now manufacturing locally. All the vehicles which were available previously were imported, but now what they have started? They have started producing locally. Mobile phones, many of the mobile phones which were imported previously, now they are manufactured locally in India. So here, India as a country is becoming self-reliant. What is happening? We are relying on ourselves. We are not relying on other countries for them to supply products and services to us. So many of the products which we used to import in huge quantities, now we have stopped completely, or importing in a limited quantity, because we are producing locally. We don't depend on foreign countries. Next is backward and forward integration. Backward integration is basically there is a manufacturing unit. For example, there is a manufacturing unit. Now this manufacturing unit is what it is doing. It is purchasing raw materials. There are raw materials of different types. Like for example, I am assembling. I'm assembling manufacturing cars. Then I will purchase tires from one fellow. I will purchase steering from one fellow. I will purchase exhaust from one fellow, right? Bearings from another fellow. So mics, music system from another fellow. So what I'm doing, I'm procuring all the raw materials from different suppliers. I will assemble. Then what I will do, I will distribute these through distribution channels or showrooms. I will appoint the distributors. They will start the showrooms and they will sell, right? Now, in case of backward and forward linkage, what is happening here? Manufacturing, what he is doing, he is connecting these raw material suppliers, he is manufacturing and he is selling. This is one thing happening. Second thing is, some of the manufacturers, what they will do, rather than purchasing raw materials from different suppliers, they themselves will start subsidiaries where they produce the raw materials. Like I am a car manufacturer, what I will do, I will start a company where I produce tires, or I will start a company where I will start producing steerings. Okay, and other parts I will procure, small parts I will procure. So what I'm doing here? Backward integration. Okay, backward integration. Likewise, forward integration. What I will do, I will start my own showrooms, company-owned showrooms. Company-owned showrooms like Maruti Nexa is a company-owned showroom. I will start company-owned showrooms and sell my products exclusive showrooms. So here, two activities are carried out by the entrepreneurs. That is backward and forward linkage. That is, this manufacturer is linking all the suppliers to all the sellers and in end to consumers. He is connecting. So this is linking, and backward integration and forward integration. This is the second concept where in backward integration, manufacturer himself is starting raw material manufacturing units and also he himself starting distribution channels. So likewise, he is getting into backward and forward integration and starting new type of businesses. So these are some of the roles of entrepreneurs which are played in the economic development of a country. So this is not exhaustive. You people, if you feel like adding, you can add some more points to this and increase the list. But these are the most generalized points what the entrepreneurs do and how they contribute to the economic development of a country. Okay. So next thing is what we will be discussing is the myths related to entrepreneurship. Okay. So myths of entrepreneurship. After going through all this stories and you may feel like, okay, let's start a business after MBA. I don't want to go for a job. I want to start my own business. Okay. And some of you may feel that, oh, I am from a poor family or I don't have money. I am not so well educated. I'm not technologically so sound. There might be many more questions like entrepreneurs, those who are entrepreneurs who are, they are highly qualified, educated, technologically very sound, financially very sound, right? You may have so many thoughts going in your mind. So there are some myths which are related, which people think are true about entrepreneurship. Let's try to have a look at these myths. Okay. Like first one is entrepreneurs. First point is don't quit. So many people think that entrepreneurs, they don't quit. They are like they never say no or they never give up. That is what people think, but it's not true. Entrepreneurs, they quit. Okay, they quit and they restart. That is what they do. They will not put on their sword change their strategy, or they change their business plan, or they change the products and services what they are into, and they rebound. So here they do quit. And recent concept is fail fast. That is the concept which is going on. Like, you start a business, you run it, and if you feel like, oh, it is not going to be successful, then you close it and start a new business. So fail fast. Rather than waiting for 3 years doing the business and failing, if you fail early, then you can start with a new idea. So here entrepreneurs, they do quit, but they will not put on their sword and they will not run away, but they will come up with the new strategies. So if you fail in one enterprise, one business, you can rebound always. Next is, entrepreneurs exactly know what they want and how to get it. Many of them feel, oh, he is very intelligent, he know exactly what he want, and he exactly know how to get it. It's not true. All the entrepreneurs, they do not know how to get it, and also they don't know exactly what they want. They want to do business, they want to make money, they want to be successful. Yes, they will develop the strategies. Yes, they will develop the plans. But what they are doing, they are planning for the future, and future is uncertain. When there is uncertainty, we are trying to be prepared. But it's not that we know everything, and then that is why we are starting the business. It's not true. Entrepreneurs, they don't know exactly, I'm using the word, they don't know exactly what they want, but they keep on changing their strategies to achieve their targets. So even targets, they keep on changing based on the situations. Okay, so here they are ready to take the risk. Risk is uncertain. That is why they are prepared. They are trying to be prepared, and they are trying to make plans as solid as possible. But yes, they don't know how to get it. Every day new technologies are coming. Every day new competitor is entering into the market. Every day new strategies are being developed by the other organizations. Every year policies change. So we never ever say, we should not say that yes, they know exactly what they want and how to get it. Okay. Suddenly some new competitor may come. Till now I was doing great business. Now this competitor entered, I will lose the market share. So I have to be prepared. I have to replan and be ready for the job. Next is, entrepreneurs are their own bosses. We use this word in the benefits of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs are their own boss. Right? No, it's not true. Entrepreneurs are not their own bosses. They are the employees of the company which they have started. They are not the owners. They are employees of that particular company. Because they have to run this business, they have to make it successful. They have to be available 24/7 if required. And they have to work to achieve their dreams. So they are not their boss. They are not their boss, but they are employees of their organizations which they have started. If they don't work for their company, if they don't work for their dreams, if they don't try to achieve what they have dreamt of and why this company started, slowly the company will die down. So they are not the boss, but they are the employees. Entrepreneurs have to be connected. There is a saying, entrepreneurs have to be extrovert. They should go and meet people. They should go and meet the governor. They should go and meet the chief minister, industry minister. He should have connections. He should know local leaders. He should know government employees. Then only he will get permissions. Then only he will get XYZ resources. Right? And then only he will become successful. It's not true. It's not true. How many of you have met Flipkart owner? How many of you even have read about the Snapdeal owner? Or how many of you have read about or met Freecharge owner? And other way around. These people who started online businesses, like Jeff Bezos, who is located in India, do you think he came to India and met Prime Minister, Industry Minister, Sitaraman, and etc. etc.? No. For example, small example, there is one fellow for this, how to be connected. There is one fellow in Tamil Nadu, PC Mustafa. Okay. So PC Mustafa is a Indian Institute of Technology, Chennai, and IIM Bangalore pass out from a very middle class family, rather than saying middle class, poor family, and he failed in 6th standard. You know which company he started after passing out from Bangalore? He started ID. ID. If you visit any like More or Reliance Fresh, you will come to you will see his product ID, dosa batter and idli batter. He is from a very poor family. He started his business with 6 cousins and only some 25,000 rupees he started. And initially he started with 5 kg and now he is producing 50,000 packets per day and his turnover is 100 crore rupees. You don't have any connections. You don't have any network. That is one more example. Then how many of you have heard about Knowledge Hut? Many of the online companies which are selling services. What you need to have is the commitment, quality product or quality services, and the strategies to sell them. You don't need connections. Okay. So you need not have to be connected. Yes, if your product is good, if your service is good, your implementation of strategy is good, definitely you will succeed. Next is entrepreneurs are usually rich. Okay. You might have heard about Narayan Murthy starting his Infosys from 10 by 10 room, taking money from Sudha Murthy. One example, how rich he was when he started. One more example, Reliance, Dhirubhai Ambani. You might have heard about Dhirubhai Ambani. He was working in foreign, okay, some Arab country, Kuwait, on a petrol pump. He came back to India. No money. He started the business. These are the big examples which I am giving. There might be, like I gave you example of Mustafa. ID, he's selling his products in Dubai. You read about MDH Masales, where they started. So they don't have to be rich to become an entrepreneur. People, they should not be rich. What they need is that idea, people to convert that idea into business and that commitment. Next is always take huge risk. Entrepreneurs always take huge risk. It's not true. Entrepreneurship is not about taking huge risk. Yes, if you fail, there is a risk of financial losses. But entrepreneurs, they don't take huge risk. Entrepreneurs always take calculated risk. Like there is uncertain risk. Entrepreneurs will do the calculations, how much losses I can bear if my company closes. Based on this calculation, they will take a calculated risk. How much suction they have to bear the losses. Based on this, they will take the risk. It's not only about investment, it's not about the profit, but also about the competition in the market. Do I have ability to sell my products and services across India? Do I have so much manufacturing capacity? Do I have so much distribution channels? Okay, so it's not just only profit, but risk related to all the business activity. What they do, they have to take the calculated risk rather than taking the Huge risk. Next is entrepreneurs do not have personal life. Like I said, they are the employees of the organization, or some in the benefits we were talking about. They have to in the disadvantages we were talking about. They have to be available 24/7 for the company because it is their child, because it is his child or her child. They have to be available all the time. There is no personal life. It's not true. In the initial period, yes, definitely, there might be times where you have to spend more time with your company rather than your family. But imagine once they become when the business starts taking care of itself, there is a process which is set up and it is being carried out. Then you don't have to worry. You can go to anywhere in India. You can travel across India. You can visit foreign countries. You can, because you have money, you can purchase cars. You can purchase different types of goods. You can purchase foreign travels. You can stay in abroad. So you can create wealth for yourself. You can spend life with your family because you have hired someone who is taking care of the business. You don't have to worry. You will go only twice or thrice to that company because people are there to take care of it. So initially there might be a struggle, but later on, yes, you will be enjoying the fruits if you start the company. So that is why they have personal life. But yes, may not be in the initial stage, but later stage when they start making money, they can enjoy. Next is entrepreneurs are only motivated by money. This is one of the myth. Oh, he want to become an entrepreneur because he want to make 100 crore. I am asking him to become an employee and earn salary because there is a fixed salary. But this fellow is very, very adamant and he want to become a businessman. He want to make money, greedy fellow. Like these words, the middle class people may come across. So it's not true. Entrepreneurs, they always don't want money. It's not only the money which motivates entrepreneurs. It's not only the money. It's the passion. It's the skills which you want to use and explore. It's the satisfaction of creating employment. You may see how many social entrepreneurs who are feeding street dogs, how many social entrepreneurs who have started orphanage, old age homes, right? You may see people who have started uh, resorts for dogs, resorts for rescue houses for cats. You may see some people who are feeding in Hyderabad who is feeding 25,000 people every day. Social entrepreneurship. What he is doing? Is he earning money? No, he's not earning money. So it is not only the money which motivates people, but yes, the satisfaction which is going, which is going to which we are going to get from the business. So it can be money, it can be skills that you have which you wanted to explore and use. It can be the craziness or passion to do something new. It can be like feeding the needy people or hungry people. It can be passion, can be like serving the society, etc. So it need not have to be money always. Next is entrepreneurs have great ideas. All the entrepreneurs have great ideas. That's why they started, because he was having a great idea. He started business and he became successful. It's not true. They don't have great ideas, but they have very good observation. They have very good research methods. They have a habit of reading. They have a habit of talking to people and trying to understand the needs and gap between the demand and supply, gap between the needs and product which are being supplied. They are very good observers, very good researchers. So what they do, by these qualities, they get the ideas. They may get 10 ideas. They analyze these ideas. After analyzing these ideas, they will pick one idea and build an enterprise. It's not that they are Suddenly out of college they came and they started the business because they are having the idea. The idea may strike when you are having a tea. Like there is, you might have heard about news of, you might have seen Chai Point. This fellow, he is a Sardar, he was working in America. He came back to Bangalore one day and he wanted to have a tea. And you see in Bangalore around small shops, pan shops where teas are being sold, or there is coffee day where 60 rupees they are charging, etc. etc. What he did, he started a Chai Point where you get different varieties of tea for 30 rupees. He's selling chai. There is one more fellow who started a lassi shop. He is selling lassis. Okay. You see this Darshini Hotel. Upahara Darshini. How many branches are there in Upahara Darshini branches? So do you think it is a great idea with which he came up? You may see some dosa centers. They have made branch. Davanagere Bende Dosa. Across Bangalore, they are selling four. So it need not have to be always. I mean, they do not have great ideas. They have idea and they make it great by giving quality service, by giving quality product. So you have an idea, make that idea into a great service. Next is have formal training and education. So to become an entrepreneur, you have to become an MBA, you have to become an IIT engineer or computer engineer, etc., etc. Right? That is what the myth is. We always think that only rich people, only educated people. Have you heard about? Have you read about VRL company owner story? What he was? He was a truck driver. He bought a second-hand truck, and from second-hand, one single second-hand truck, he built the largest tar port organization in India. VRL, Vijayananda Road Lines. What is his education? What basic education he was having? Likewise, Dhirubhai Ambani. Was he a IIT pass out or MBA from Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad? These are some of the examples because we came across these stories, but you may see entrepreneurs around you who are successful. He may be selling bricks, he may be selling tiles, he may be selling these sofas, furnitures, or etc. etc. He may be a small entrepreneur or big entrepreneur, small enterprise or big enterprise, but he is an entrepreneur, right? He may not have the formal education, but he is making lakhs together money every month. So entrepreneurship doesn't require formal education and formal training. Yes, education and training will help you to access the knowledge, to access the technologies or services available to run your business. That will do the additional job, but certificate or education is not the fundamental thing which is required to run businesses. Next is entrepreneurs are young. So I am 60-year-old. I should not start like entrepreneurs are young. 60-year-old, I should not start business. I am only 18 years. I should not start a company. KFC, he was 65 years when he started KFC. Okay. And there is one fellow in Mumbai who was inspired by Mumbai Dabbawalas, which is one of the successful business run by meagerly, I mean, educated, maybe those are 10th, not even 10th pass fellows who are supplying dabbas across Mumbai. They are invited by IITs and IIMs. People are studying from foreign universities. People are coming to study their business model. Dabbawalas, Mumbai Dabbawalas. The Mumbai Dabbawala CEO is going to IIM and giving talks about how they run business. He don't even know English. Okay. So now, these people are not young. Like KFC owner. Jack Ma, recent story. He started Alibaba. He was rejected in 14 jobs. He sat and thought and he started one company and he became successful. And this Mumbai Dabbawala, those are people with middle class, not even middle class, poor. And inspired by these fellows, there is one boy who is just 18 years who started one courier delivery service in Mumbai and he became successful. He is making 1 crore rupees revenue. What he does, just like Mumbai Dabbawalas, he will deliver couriers within 1 day anywhere in Mumbai. 18 years old. Then this Oyo Room, this Agarwal, he was just 21 years old when he started his Oyo Room business. So you need not have to, age is not a factor here to be considered. It is the idea, business idea what you have, the support what you get, the commitment what you have towards your business idea. Next is entrepreneurs are born and not made, connected to your education, rich and all. Likewise, oh, his father is entrepreneur. That is why he became an entrepreneur. My father is a farmer, so I should become a farmer. Right? My father is a teacher, so I should become a teacher. Likewise, entrepreneur. All Gujaratis are business people, so that's why they are into business. Their children also become business owners. Right? It's not true. Entrepreneurs are not born, they are made. They are made by situations. Entrepreneurs are made by opportunities. Entrepreneurs are made by the urge of an individual to achieve something. Else, Narayan Murthy, from his family, he is the first generation entrepreneur. And he left his job because he was working for Patni Computers in Pune. 8 of his friends, they all are first generation entrepreneurs and started the business. I'm not taking example of Ratan Tata because Ratan Tata's father was J.R.D. Tata was already into business. But take the example of Dhirubhai Ambani, first generation entrepreneur. Like P.C. Mustafa, I'm talking. He is the first generation entrepreneur. Their family not even connected in the far, say, not even in their dreams, they might have thought about starting an enterprise. So, entrepreneurs are born, entrepreneurs are not born, they are made. The situations, opportunities, the courage, the ability to take risk, right? The commitment, the persistence, that is what entrepreneurs are made of. Okay? So they are not born. So any one of you who feel like become an entrepreneur can start your own enterprise. Next, there are another 3 points which are related to myths. Next is, after this, entrepreneurs are born and not made. No, they are not born, they are made. Even you people, even I can become an entrepreneur. Next is, entrepreneurship is, first point is fun. Entrepreneurship is fun because you get to employ people. Then you can scold them. You can call them and make them run across Bangalore. And one fine day, if they are not performing, you can say on the floor that idiot fellow, you are not fit, you are fired. And at the end of the month, oh, I am giving you 25,000 rupees. I am doing a favor to you. Right? Entrepreneurship is very fun. I can take money. I can go to America. I can go to England. I can go to Thailand. Right? It is fun. It's not true. Entrepreneurship is not fun. It is very, very serious business. It is very, very serious business. Your entire family depends on you. Employees of the company depends on you. Families of the employees depend on your organization. So that is why entrepreneurship is not a fun activity. It is a serious activity. You are in touch with your customers. You are delivering products and services to your customers. If you take it granted, your customers will kick you out of market. No one, you are not even competitors. Customers will throw you out of the market. And if you're not taking your business seriously, competitors will eat the profits. They will grab the market. They will eat the entire market revenue. So entrepreneurship is not fun. It is very, very serious activity. Next is entrepreneurship requires huge funds. Okay, huge funds. Money is required. Oh, I want to start a business, but I need 100 crore. Who is going to give me 100 crore? So I don't have money. So I will not start business. I will go and join a company. Entrepreneurship is not about huge funds. I told you again, entrepreneurship is about ideas which can be converted into great ideas and then commitment towards that particular idea. So funds, I give you an example of Infosys started with 10,000. Sir, it started in 1990, 10,000 rupees. Okay. In 90s, 10,000 rupees also. Okay. But they were not having money, right? They sold gold, pledged gold, and took money and started business. They didn't take crores together. Now this PC Mustafa is started with 25,000 rupees. Dhirubhai Ambani didn't even get a loan. Whatever money he brought from his job, he started a business. Likewise, there are many more examples. But in the current situation, government itself is giving so much benefits. Financial institution, there are policies developed by Government of India and some state governments to promote entrepreneurship, like Pradhan Mantri Employment Generation Scheme. In that, I told you, you can get 25 lakh rupees, up to 25 lakh rupees. You can start any business in your local area. They're ready to give, and there is subsidy, 30% subsidy, 25% subsidy, 10% subsidy, 5% subsidy based on your categories. So money is available. Government is ready to give you funds. So you should not be saying that I don't have money with me, so I will not be able to start a business. I have an example from my own native. He wanted to start a beauty parlor. He got 10 lakh rupees. One fellow wanted to start this Shamiana house, penthouse. He got 15 lakh rupees. They started. One fellow wanted to start a vermicompost. He got 10 lakh rupees. He was not having any money, but yes, there are resources available. You can go approach. If your project is good, if your idea is good, there is a chances of success, then definitely you will get the funds. So money is not a restriction. Next is third point. Anyone can be an entrepreneur. Okay? No. Everyone cannot become an entrepreneur. All people, to become an entrepreneur, you should have that metal. So everyone cannot become an entrepreneur. We talked about the qualities, we talked about the skills, abilities of entrepreneurs. If you want to become an entrepreneur, you should have those qualities. Especially observation, especially taking risk, extrovert, okay? And then your commitment, motivation, innovation. These qualities are required to become an entrepreneur. Okay, I don't feel good because my boss is scolding me, I will become an entrepreneur. No, it's not the option because your boss is scolding, you're leaving the job and you want to become an entrepreneur. So not all people are made for entrepreneurship. Only those people who have that ability to take the risk, who have that ability to face the challenge, who have ability to foresee the future and plan for it. Such people are only successful entrepreneurs. Only such people become successful entrepreneurs. So this is all about your entrepreneurship topics. So if you have any questions, please drop me a WhatsApp message, email, or on Google Class. You can also comment. As usual, I will be uploading this video on Google Class and also on my YouTube channel. You can go back, access this video and go through the video once again. Do let me know if you have any questions. Take care. Be safe. Thank you very much for joining.